Hey, what's up, you guys? Friendly Neighborhood Geek here, doing another retro uh, Transformer re-review. Yes, this is a set of characters. When I think about it, I might do more of these, honestly, because some of these figures that I'm doing a review on, when I got them originally, which were like some years ago, the quality of those videos weren't the best. So these, when I think about it, like these group of characters, so it gives you an idea of the type of Transformers I'll be talking about. These teams, might get their own individual review. So I will be talking about Transformers Fall of Cybertron Combaticons, and we are going to start off with Swindle. I am going to, something in my eye, I am going to review these guys individually. I might do a re-review of um, Bruticus, and if I hadn't said already, we're starting off with Decepticon or Combaticon Swindle. Um, like I said, I talked about Bruticus, the actual combiner. I talked about him maybe last year, year before last year. I haven't seen that video of mine in a while, so I don't know how well it holds up. But that might, if I'm going to talk about the individual robots, I might as well, potentially re-talk about the combiner. Um, like I said, my Combiner Wars, Aerial Bot, Superion, and Combiner Wars, uh, Victorion, the female combiner team. Again, those videos don't think they've aged the best, and I haven't really, messed with those figures, excuse me, in a long time. So, it'd be fun to, talk about those older combiners and see how well they hold up and all that good stuff. But yes, we're going to talk about the Fall of Cybertron Combaticons. Yeah. So I think I mentioned it before. Fall of Cybertron kind of got me into Transformers, like, uh, which I think is the Age of Extinction at the time, which is one of my favorite Transformer movies, even though it is kind of hasn't aged the best in some areas. But like I said, other collectors just seeing all the different characters and all the different type of toys and continuities and all that stuff I found really interesting and really got me hooked into Transformers to the point where a majority of my room was just filled with Transformers and Lego. Um, so when Fall of Cybertron, came out, I didn't have a PlayStation 3, Xbox, whatever. I didn't have the console it was going to be on. I would still like to play Fall of Cybertron and its prequel, War for Cybertron, at some point. Just don't know when that'll be. But I was really, enthralled with the cinematics and the storyline and the voice acting, and you have the ability to play as the Combaticons and Bruticus, and you have the ability to play as Grimlock and a lot of other popular Generation One characters who had their own unique gameplay style. So I was like I said, I was just really invested to the story and all that stuff. To the point where when I was younger, I would just rewatch gameplay chapters or whatever over and over again. But so when the toy line came out, and we have the new Gamerverse toy line, which is kind of giving us modern, updated takes on these characters. This was a big selling point. I remember Grimlock, which I used to have, the Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. I love that figure, but I sold it some years ago. I might repurchase that down the line. But like I said, Grimlock was a selling point, and the Combaticons were a selling point. Hasbro and Takara got their money's worth out of these figure molds. They had a San Diego Comic Con um, release, which were I guess more game accurate colors. There was Takara had their own single carded figure releases, which had premium paint and metallic paint, and I guess they were kind of more, again, kind of more game accurate. Um, the ones I own, which I think I all bought from the same seller, I believe, who is a seller on eBay who sells Transformer figures. Always would buy from them periodically. Um, so like I said, the set I have is the retail set, which a lot of people call like the Jolly Rancher set because of how colorful all the figures are. Um, yeah, which I like. I like the retail set. I find the color, these bright colors more. Um, I like that look more. I like it more than uh, the more the darker game accurate, color scheme, color designs. Um, so I'm trying to remember. We had the G2 set, which I used to own. I don't know if I think I did an unboxing on it. I had the G2 set, which was a uh, Amazon exclusive. So I had two sets of these figures. Um, and I sold that because it's like, yeah, it was just kind of an impulse buy. And I already had, the retail set. So I was like, well, I really don't need another one. Um, and then we got, which was really, really cool, we got Autobot versions of these molds. So the whole Combaticon team, but they were Autobots, and they were the Wreckers, which is another group of Autobots, another subgroup of Autobots in the Transformers universe. Um, like I try to remember Roadbuster, Topspin, Twin Twist, Whirl, and Impactor. Um, Impactor was the leader of the team, which was really cool because that was the first time Impactor ever got an official figure. There were like third party toys, but that was the first time he got an official figure. Using Onslaught's body mold. Now we have the Siege Impactor, which I do have. I did a video on him, which is like a better, more modern take on Impactor. But the old one, based off the Fall of Cybertron mold, is still a really cool, um, figure. And those characters came with, I think, the same weapons as these characters, but they also came with like these mech tech weapons, which were like these kind of gimmicky weapons, which was really, really cool. I've had numerous occasions where I could have got that set and I just kind of forgot about it, passed on it. It's like, yeah, it's something I'd like to get in the future. But yeah, I would love to get the Autobot version, which would be, really, really cool. And I think that's all the versions of these guys. Um, I have three Swindles. This one, the G2 one by itself, and then the G2 one that came as a set. The G2 one I had by itself, I ended up giving that to my brother. But like I said, I really like this figure. I really like Swindle. He's probably aged better for the most part than some of the other characters. Honestly, and you'll see when I do videos on the other members of the team, I think Onslaught probably aged the worst, even though I still really like that figure, which I'll get into that when I talk about him. Um, but to kind of see the back of him, he looks kind of funky, you know, like you see the back of him, like kind of has a skeletal kind of look, I guess. Of course, you would be looking at the figure from the front, like I said, but seeing all these pieces kind of exposed, the back open up and stuff like that, where you can see the Bruticus robot hands. It doesn't bother me. This figure, well, the set in general has not aged well to a degree. I agree with that. A lot of people, even when this came out, a lot of people were kind of meh about it. Um, there was an upgrade kit called Boosticus, which is hilarious. I saw that recently on eBay for like $50 plus shipping. I would have loved to have gotten it if I had the extra to get it. I would have loved to have gotten it, but it's sold. So again, I'm sure I'm not the only one who still likes the set, still likes these figures. For someone to have went out of their way to have purchased it, so hopefully maybe one day. I mean, it's not a big deal to me because I like the combiner mode, even if it's dated. One day, again, if the opportunity comes up, and then I'll try to get the booster kit set. Like I said, buying it through eBay or secondhand market is probably your best bet, honestly, at this point because of how old that upgrade kit is. Um, but like I said, I mean, I remember when I sold the G2 set, a lot of people, were interested in it and asked questions. They were trying to, send me offers for a lower price than what I was selling it for. But since it was an exclusive, I wanted to make a good deal on it. And eventually, someone sent me a decent offer and I sold it to them. So again, obviously people still like these figures for people to still be interested in buying them, so. But yeah, getting to Swindle, he's like a he's like a weapons dealer. He'll sell off rather machinery, weaponry, energon, uh, parts of a deceased transformer to the opposing side, Autobot or Decepticon. Apparently, I don't know if we've ever seen that in like the cartoon G1 cartoon. I don't know if we ever saw that side of his character, but I would assume maybe in the comics they've done that, which is really neat. Kind of reminds me of Lockdown a little bit. Like, yeah, he's still technically a Decepticon, but he's still kind of low key, still does his own thing, outside of the battle between Autobots and Decepticons. His weapon is cool. One thing is basic, which is not a big deal. One thing I do like is that all their guns combine, all their weapons combine, and it becomes Bruticus's, big weapon, which is really nice. I mean, he has nice articulation, arms can go 360. This arm can rotate 360. These little exhaust pieces on the back, you can kind of push them out and they can rotate. I'm not sure if that's for the robot mode or whatever. I just kind of maybe give him better articulation, maybe, but I just kind of keep them where they are. The shoulder pieces go up and down due to transformation. You see the head can rotate side to side. If it wasn't hindered, it probably could go 360, but yeah. Probably can't see his face that well, but the only paint he has on his face is his visor. But if you look, bring it up to your face and look at his face, you can see the detail, the nose, the mouth, which looks cool. He has a nice looking face. Like I said, legs can go out, rotate, bend up and down, do the transformation, all that good stuff. His waist can rotate, do the transformation. So again, he has, solid articulation. It's kind of funny seeing how bulky he is. But so again, fun figure. I dig him. So in the original G1 cartoon, the Combaticons were created by Starscream to, I guess, overthrow Megatron and take over as the leader of Decepticons. Of course, that didn't work out, and they eventually became official members of the Decepticon faction. I have Fall of Cybertron Starscream. So again, if I was to have these guys, on display again, I'm considering just putting them out on display again so I can admire them. It would be really cool. I could have Starscream displayed with them. It's kind of funny because in the game, they really couldn't, even though Starscream had became, spoiler, temporarily the leader when Megatron was out of commission, and they were trying to attack Autobot base, Energon base or something. They acted like they really couldn't stand Starscream. They were so annoyed by him, which is funny because in the original continuity, he created them, so. But as far as the combiners go, and then I'll show his, I'll just do a size comparison. I'm not going to show the other members in the group until maybe like the last video, which I guess I might make Onslaught the last character, last one. You'll kind of get an idea, since this figure was made, a couple of years later. Dreadwing and Swindle's taller than him, which is neat. So, excuse me. Yeah, as far as combiners go, I think he has one of the easier transformations. I'm not going to bother to show the combiner, which real quick before talking about my favorite combiners, Another thing, these guys were like have the Scramble City um, feature gimmick. Scramble City was when I guess a team of combiners, like any limb could be an arm or a leg, basically. So you can do that with these figures, which is really cool. Um, like I said, I don't remember. I think Swindle and Brawl maybe were legs, and Vortex and Blastoff may have been arms. I don't remember. In the original G1 cartoon, when I combine them, that's how I do it. Brawl, not Brawl, Vortex and Blastoff are arms. Swindle and Brawl are the legs, but you can switch it up. You know, have Swindle and Brawl be the arms, and Vortex and um, Blast off be the legs. So all figures have the ability to have hands or to form feet, which is really cool. Again, just really adds to the playability. And I'm sure kids would have really appealed to these figures, you know. So let's see, put the legs together real quick. So as I was saying, there we go. Legs together like that. My favorite combiners, plug the head up, push the chest out, fold the head down, like that. Hold the arms down like that, rotate the shoulder pieces. I guess rotate the waist. Okay, so pull the arms down like that because you want these pegs to plug in on the side of the legs. There we go. And I remember. Oh. I'm trying to remember. I think the legs. Yeah, you push them in like that. Yeah, push the legs down like that. And then pieces on the top plug in. Or maybe the shoulders pull out like that so they're not in the way. I think that's how you do it. Almost there. So then these pieces plug in. There we go. And the arms plug into the side. And there we have it. So maybe, I'm not sure, maybe, you know, that's when you rotate the exhaust pieces. But I never do that. And then we pull the legs down. And then we have him, for the most part, accurately transformed. You see how he looks as a car, or his Cybertronian car mode. Which again, I like. Very charming. Okay, accidentally cut when I meant to pause the video, but here, I like down here, we have, you know, more detail, which is really nice. Robot detail. The bottom of him. But again, nice vehicle mode. Probably one of the better ones out of the group. So I really dig him. And you see you have the gun on the top. Nice Decepticon logo. Everything about him is, like I said, really charming. Like I said, it's probably my one of my favorites on the team and the group. But I'll get into that when I review the other figures. So I was saying, I've had a lot of combiners, unofficial and official. But as far as like the G1 teams, love the aerial bots, love their origin, all that cool stuff. The protective bots were really cool. I had the G1 a G1 knockoff and a knockoff of the Combiner Wars version. Um, Predaking I like, but I like the Prime incarnation more, where he's, you know, one sentient being who turns into a dragon. I don't really have an interest in buying the G1 version, or well, the combiner version, whatever. Predaking. Abominus is cool. I wouldn't mind getting the Power of the Prime version of that. Devastator is probably my favorite. I've had many Devastators. I mean, I have behind me. You can't see it. I have my G1 Devastator, which is probably G1 and Combiner Wars is probably my favorite versions. And the minifigure, uh, I forgot the Hulky mini Legend scale version that I had was really cool. Um, I try to remember. Like I said, Victorion, all female Autobot team, really really cool. Bruticus, I do. Um, this because of this incarnation of the characters. Like I said, probably made him put him higher up on my combiner team, my combiner list. Um, I think that's it. I know there's some other ones. Like I said, Raiden was like the train bots G1. I would love to have the original G1 Raiden sets. It's a shame they did not get um, figures, or not even Takara figures, in the original Combiner Wars. So such a missed opportunity on Hasbro and Takara's part. They got some Masterpiece, but again, this Masterpieces are extremely expensive. There are some KOs of the G1 set that you can get all together as like a little box set. So I would love to get, the G1 training bots. Maybe, with my military plans, fingers crossed, if when I'm able to do that when I go to Japan, maybe I could find that in the wild or something. You never know. Um, and I forgot the Technobots. They're really cool, but I just don't really have an attachment to them. But again, this is a cool figure. There's plenty of other versions of Swindle in the wild. You don't have to get this version, but I like this version, so but I mean, I recommend them. Like I said, I recommend all of them. If you can appreciate this older combiner set. So yeah, that's it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Peace, you guys.